Okay, so today we're going to work on the male figure, fashion figure, or the male croquis. And I'm going to start with my ruler and my mechanical pencil, and I'm going to draw a vertical line down the center of my 8.5 by 11 inch paper, marking every inch. Just a tiny little tick mark. The next thing I'm going to do is start with the head shape. And I'm going to square a line, sort of like that. A little bit curved, a little bit angled right here so that the jaw looks nice and masculine. Now, this part right here is 0. This is 1, this is 2, and so on, all the way down. If it helps, you can label these out to the side so that you can keep these things straight as I'm mentioning them. Okay. In the center between 1 and 2 is where we're going to place our shoulders. And these shoulders are going to be about 2 heads in width. Now, because this paper, each head is 1 inch, that would equate to about 2 inches. So I'm going to check that, and that's about right. And then I'm going to add some shoulders. Now, the width of the head is a little bit larger than the width of the neck. So I'm going to place that on there, and then I'm going to add some pretty large neck tendons right here. They go down and then meet the top of the shoulder, but they don't go straight like that. You want to see that nice shoulder come out. Now, their waist is a little bit lower than the women's waist. Their waist is probably about 3 1/3 of the way down, and their waist is a little bit wider than what their head is. So I'm going to come down from the center of the shoulder, and I'm going to draw a line down like that. Now for the pecs, they're about right about here, so 2 1/3 maybe. And I'm just going to square a line out. All the way to overlap almost to the edge of the rib cage. I'm going to do a little V right there too. And tiny little nipples. The crotch is about 4 1/2. And I'm just going to square a line with a little bit of an angle near the top, but it doesn't quite hit that 4 line, so no need to go any more into anatomically correct details for this. The knees are at 6 1/2, and so I'm going to draw circles for those. And then I'm going to draw circles for their hips. And then I'm just going to draw a straight line down because they don't have much of that hip outward curve that you see on the female form. They tend to be a lot more angular and straight. I'm gonna draw some muscly legs right here. And I'm just drawing these like elongated football shapes for that. And then I'm just gonna draw some lines down to connect all that together. Probably could have made the thighs a little bit more muscular. And I think that hip went out a little bit too wide. That's looking a little better. We're also going to have a belly button around center between 3 and 4. We're going to see a little bit of the underneath of the rib cage and a line on either side of the stomach muscles. At the waist, that's where we're going to see the elbow. And we can connect a line there. And then at the crotch, that's the wrist. And then we can add the elongated football shape for some biceps. And then more of a baseball bat shape for the lower arms. Can go around those shapes and finish them off with like the little indent crease at the inner elbow. And, you know, be patient with yourself because the first many croquis or fashion figures that I drew were hideous. So please expect that. Be patient. You have to get through the ugly ones to get to the good ones. That's the price you pay. And if you can be patient, you will get there. Eventually, I promise. Talent only brings you so far. So for the hands, I created these long lantern shapes and I did a cross section of them. It's just a basic shape that we can use to create a hand. And now, let's see, I can kind of curve the edges of that. Bring this in. Now for the ankles are going to hit right at the top. Those ankles are going to hit right at that 9 line. I'm going to do a gentle curve from the center of the knees to the ankles. And I'm going to put some calf muscles that are about a head in size. I'm going to go inside the knee, underneath, to connect those shapes. And on the outside of the leg, I'm just basically doing straight lines. For the feet, they're not in heels, so they're going to have these wide feet. And that should accommodate sneakers or Oxfords or whatever it is that they are wearing. Now for the face, I'm going to do a vertical or a horizontal line for the eyes. I'm going to add a little bit more width at the top of the head for hair and more of a skeletal structure. The hairline's gonna be about right here. And for more information or better detail on creating the male face, please refer to my instructional video on creating the male face. That should give you more details. Eyebrow line is about right here. The nose is here, mouth, and I usually elongate the chin a little bit as well. Your ears are going to start at the top of the eyebrow and stop at the tip of the nose on either side. And your eyes are going to be sort of squinty and boxy with some pretty heavy eyebrow action going on. Not much angle there. Like they don't have a big dramatic angle like the women that I draw, but there. I like a nice structured nose. So when I draw the nose, I like to outline a few different spots. And the details for that, like I said before, can be seen better on the other video that I created. I like to do a downturned mouth on guys, opposite than the women. I think his lips look a little bit too fuller than what I was wanting to do. So I'm gonna fix that a little bit. Okay. I'm gonna give him a little bit of facial hair here, and I'm gonna start by adding more cheekbone. And maybe he's got kind of a little bit of a slicked pompadour or something going on. Give him some eyes looking straight at us. And we can start inking him in. I'm going to square out his hairline a little bit more. I like to draw the hairs of the eyebrow as opposed to just the shape. I think it's more interesting that way. Don't put too much detail on the ears. Got these dark brooding eyes. Make sure his jaw has a nice structure to it. That'll make him look a little bit more masculine. And a little bit of an Adam's apple, collarbone, and for other information on how to draw a really nice male form, there are so many awesome tutorials out there, but one area that I like to research a little bit before I draw is superhero illustrators. Pardon me. They just are so good at using minimal lines to convey such style. So pay attention to those. And that should help you on your quest for getting better at drawing. Now, I realize we forgot to do the hands, so let's do that. So we've got this pad of the hand right here that's gonna come out right there, right at the base of the wrist. And I'm just gonna draw that. And then it comes to meet the thumb right there. This is just a relaxed hand pose. And right above this little cross, that's where the hand splits between the thumb and the fingers. Now with our fingers, we have 3 joints on each finger, but the last 2 joints tend to follow each other. Unless, you know, you're totally curling your hand, but for the most part, they follow, so it looks like you've got 2 sections of the fingers. So if it helps, you can split it like this. So you've got, this is the main knuckle right here, then you've got that first joint right here, and then these 2 down here are the same length as this one. So it just seems like fingers have 2 joints, or 2 sections instead of 3. There we go. Now we can finish inking him. The guy's hands are a little bit more stocky, and the knuckles are more pronounced than the women's. And the bones are obviously a little bit more pronounced as well. Make sure that your legs are looking fairly symmetrical before you ink everything in. And if you make a mistake, you can always use a white gel pen to fix your issues. Let's see, I might do a little bit of muscle right there. And he is basically done. I just need to erase my guidelines. Oh, I forgot that eye. He might need that other eye right there. There we go. And when I drew those shoulders, I used circles, but really they're almost like a square shape coming out with this point and this point. So think about those little subtle details that can make your drawings look a little more realistic. It's always something that I forget to ink. And you don't find it out until after you erase. Also with Micron, sometimes you have to wait a little bit before you erase, otherwise you can smear it if it hasn't fully dried. So be careful about that. And let's see. Yeah, not too bad. So here we have a male croquis. And you can take a regular sheet of copy paper and slip that over the top of it, and you can see a little bit of the figure, and then you can just draw directly on that when you're designing your own clothes, or you can use a light box or put it up against a window. That helps too. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and happy drawing. Thanks for checking me out.